Or
I'm long torsoed.
Yeah, I noticed that because you're a lot taller, even though you're not really taller.
Welcome to the Rowdy.com Big Three. This is the Kansas pre-race edition. I'm Buzz Cutler, sitting next to actual real-live race car driver JJ Yeley. One Rowdy fan, one of our members, called you the fourth stooge.
I'm not going to be a stooge until I get either the big belt buckle or I want a Rowdy ring.
Ooh,
Like
I want a Rowdy
finger.
ring. That's a good idea.
Could you get that?
Talking about Kansas, when you heard that there was going to be a second date at Kansas, were you just like, yeah, Kansas, I get to go to Kansas twice, cool?
If it meant not going to California twice, absolutely.
So good trade-off?
It's an awesome trade-off. You know, Kansas is, it's a great market for the sport. Obviously, that's where Sprint is located. It's a fun racetrack. It is another mile and a half. It's a cookie-cutter racetrack. It is a little bit different, though. It doesn't have quite the banking that some of the other tracks like Atlanta, Charlotte. But because of that, it makes it more of a racing track. The bottom groove normally gives up. There's some bumps in the racetrack. It has a lot of character. It's a fun place to go. It's very similar to Chicago. I really enjoy going to Kansas, so I think it's going to be fun to get to go there twice.
Now, I'm surprised to hear you say, it's got some bumps and some character because it's the youngest of the downforce tracks, the youngest of the cookie cutters. We've only been there 9 times. So are you saying the track is beginning to age and they're starting to get a little bit more bumps in the track?
There's a pretty substantial bump that goes from the bottom to the top in turns 3 and 4. The racetrack, it wears. You're in the middle of, I guess you're kind of like in Tornado Alley there. So, you have rain, you have snow, all those things wear the racetrack out tremendously. So every time they go back, the racetrack's lost grip, which in turn makes it a better racetrack. Because then you got to go find grip, you get to change lanes, and, as a race fan, you don't want to watch a train. You don't want to watch a bunch of cars running around the bottom. You want to see 2 and 3 wide racing, and that's what you get when a racetrack starts to wear out. I know a lot of the drivers were complaining about Atlanta because it's lost a lot of grip. It's a handful. You're driving white-knuckled for 4 hours, but the racing is going to be better. The fans are enjoy it, and ultimately we got to do whatever the fans need to do to stay there to either come to races and watch or make sure their butts are planted in a couch watching at home.
Right. Now, we haven't talked about this so much lately, but it was a big story obviously earlier in the season, and I was thinking about it and going back and hitting this downforce stretch in the chase. Do you feel the same sort of aero grip dynamic in the spoiler as you did with the old wing cot?
I think regardless with the COT car, it's going to be a clean air parade. And it's not so much because of the back of the car, because yes, it's changed the dynamic a little bit of the way the cars are set up and the things they do, but ultimately, the front of the cars are so square, they punch such a big hole that, usually getting out front, even if it's 2 tires or no tires, that clean air gives you the downforce that's going to get you the speed that's going to keep you up there. It's not going to change. Track position is always going to be critical in a sport unless we're racing modifieds. If they take the bodies completely off, and that's the only way that's going to change.
Well, let's do that then. Going to Kansas, there are a couple of guys who've won there multiple times, and only a couple. Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, the only guys who've won there a couple of times. You look at the drivers, Greg Biffle's very good there, has something like a 9.0 average finish. Are we looking at the usual suspects? Is there anybody that you would say, hey, keep an eye on this guy, he's always good there even though he hasn't gotten the finishes?
It's been such a crapshoot. These cars are ever changing. Every week they find something different that makes these cars better. And you look at Mark Martin as a perfect example. Guy last year has shot at win championship, didn't make the chase, kind of struggling. It's changed so much. For me, I think it would be cool to see Jeff Gordon go out there, run up front. I have my favorites for guys that I think would be cool to see win championship. I think it'd be awesome to see Jeff Gordon pull one out. Jeff Burton, guys that are veterans of the sport, but at the same time, they're a pillar of the sport. It's very important, I think, for those guys to go out there and do good. All right,
this has been JJ Yeley, Buzz Cutler, talking Kansas. We'll see how it all comes out in the wash and be back to wrap everything else up on Monday.
Rowdy.com. Say it like it is.
Say what like it is?
Rowdy.com.